Hi there, it's Gaynor from FitFish. I wanted to talk to you today about 3 reasons why your habit changes might not be working. It can be really frustrating. You want to change something, you see other people around you changing habits all the time, making healthier choices and being able to stick with them, but somehow you just can't do it. And it's frustrating and it makes you feel that things are never going to change. So I just wanted to share with you 3 reasons why it might be. Now, I believe that we have room in our lives for different kinds of habit changes at different times. So I think we've got 4 buckets of habits. So if you imagine those big buckets that store water, and when they get enough water and they tip and they pour down into the next bucket, then the next bucket, then the next bucket. That's what I'm talking about. Let's call it a bucket chain. So I think the bucket at the bottom is those default behaviors that are habits, but they're so inbuilt and ingrained that we don't have to think about them at all anymore. So it could be something like driving a car, turning a light on when you walk into a room. It could be something like flushing the toilet after you've been to the toilet. It could be brushing your teeth in the morning, something like that. Completely natural, happens every day, happens every time it needs to, without fail. Then you've got the second bucket, which are more things like, for some people, could be still driving a car, perhaps drinking a glass of water in the morning. So things that are easy to do, but you need slight reminders. So when you see a cup, when you see a tap, when you put the kettle on in the morning, you think, drink my glass of water. Or it could be that you need a reminder to turn the light off before you go out the house. So it's that kind of thing where actually it's pretty easy to do, but a reminder can be helpful. Then you've got bucket number 3, which are those habits that you're working on at the moment. So work in progress. And then you got bucket number 4, which are those habits which at some point in the future you might work on changing or adding in, depending whether you want to take away habits or add in new ones. But at the moment, no, they're up there. So for a habit to move down a bucket, I think that it needs to have space to move down. So that's the first thing, is have you got space in your life to embed new habits? Have you got room to be working on bucket number 4 or bucket number 3? Or actually are you still working on some other stuff that's already in the bucket, so therefore you haven't got room? So just make sure there's space and capacity in your life to work on your habits. So that could mean that you just need to make tiny changes, 1 step at a time, or you need to just focus on one thing at a time. So make sure you've got capacity and space in your life. If you're honest with yourself, it might just not be the season for you to be making a change. You might have far too much other stuff going on. That means focusing on some other habits might be more useful to give yourself more space and more peace and less stress. Okay, so that's number 1, is making room for that habit change. Number 2 is believing it can happen. So actually looking at your buckets 1, buckets 2, and realizing that there have been things in the past which have been harder to change, but now they're easier. So remembering what's happened, remembering that you learned to dance that certain dance, remembering that you learned to drive a car, play a musical instrument, drink a glass of water before every meal, include more vegetables with your food. What is it that you've done in the past that actually started off as a real conscious effort, but has now become autopilot? So think about those things and let those spur you on to make new changes. So that's number 2, is celebrate what's gone before and recognize what's gone before, and that you are the kind of person that can make habit changes. Number 3 is, if you think about bucket number 4 that's up there, do you want to change it? Or is it actually something in the future that you'll come to, but not right now? So are you ready for bucket number 4 to tip into bucket number 3, a work in progress? Or would you rather it just stayed there for now? I think we can all think of things in our lives that actually possibly aren't the healthiest for us in body, spirit, or soul, whatever they may be. But actually, it's just not on your radar to change them at the moment, for whatever reason that might be. So it might be you just accept that and leave it up there in bucket number 4, or it might be you think, hold on, Why don't I want to change that? What's the reasoning there? And why am I holding back from making changes? Why don't I really want to? And examining that a bit further. And if you realize deep down you do want to, then that's some work that you can do in making it more of a desire, making it more of an intrinsic motivation that you really want to do. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. Think about those buckets. Think about having enough capacity to work on the habits. Think about remembering your past, remembering things you have changed, remember the positive habits you do now have, and think about, oh, that's an alarm going off something. Think about that bucket number 4. Are there things that you're just not doing, and why is that? Is it because of one of those reasons, you just haven't got capacity in your life, or you're not believing you can? Or is it that actually the season is not now? Or is it that you do want to change it, but you need to work on the reasons why? So I hope that helps. Let me know what out of that was useful for you, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.